So, hello everyone, Myrmonden here, it's time talking about Attack on Titan final season part 2, right? So, to no one's surprise, earlier today they have of course announced a new continuation of Attack on Titan, and not any spoilers, right? But it's a lot of chapters left, okay? It's like 20 chapters left, and one chapter is much longer than Attack on Titan, doing it once a month, so there was no way they could do it in like a movie or so on. But I'm gonna cover while I still believe it's gonna be a movie. But anyway, first of all, I want to explain this confusion here. I might still be wrong, because the translation is this winter, if you actually read the text, and so on. But anyway, as a lot of comments, people are like, oh, this winter, so it's coming like in December or November or so on, right? But the thing is that, when we talk about winter anime season here, that is January, okay? So winter anime season is January, February, and of course March, which is then the ending this week. This is the last week of winter season 2021. So when they are writing the text here and saying Attack on Titan is returning, right, winter season, you know, even if translation can be read as this winter, and it might literally mean this winter, would be like this year, but I think I would say from how normal this looks in all the animes, it means that it's gonna air next year, right? So that's 9 months from now. That's the way I at least interpret that. That's how they usually write it. If they would normally say, oh, it's coming back in like this year, it would be like in this fall, right? So there's confusion there. I might still be wrong, because you can read it as this winter, and there is no. I have tried to find an actual like confirmation date, like the actual date, right? Not just how to say it, not just the actual winter, but like January the 1st or whatever. Right? But I think it is very much likely that they are talking about winter, ergo 9 months from now. Okay, that's like every other anime when they say winter or fall or summer and so on, talking about the seasonal of anime, like not like the actual winter months or whatever. That's how it works. It's usually Japanese television. But anyway, there's the news then, and I'm guessing about 12 or so episodes, maybe less actually. If I come into that soon here, it's gonna be airing then in about 9 months from now, right? And also might start later then, depending on how they do it and so on. Anyway, I will talk about the reason why I think it's gonna be a movie though. And I say it in Black Clover, my reason, still remains with that, right? So here we have the Sony Corporation common stock. These are the stocks of Sony too. So the Sony Corporation, obviously PlayStation and so on, right? But not too much the stock market here. But okay, so this is currently where we are. We kind of fell down here. The last earnings. It's kind of earnings report. With PlayStation 5 being sold out and so on. A lot of games sold. To me, a surprise that it spiked, because usually it's priced in, I think, the PlayStation sales or whatever. And you can see here that the stock has been steadily increasing this year because of everyone's being at home, right? So video game companies has generally performed very well, right, during this last year. However, what you can see here is that there's a big jump out here. Okay, there's a massive jump here from about the bottom here, and this is at the earnings date, 74, 75, around that level, and it's been going down actually from its current peak earlier with good game sales here then. So in this area here, the stock is trading sideways for a while here, for like a week or so, for a few weeks, and then it jumps here, right, from about 75 then, roughly 75, up to about 80, up to 90, right, in the coming days here. Well, basically, it kind of segues down and keeps going, right, but roughly kind of at least a jump from like 75 to 90. So it's like a 17% jump in about 2-3 days here, roughly, and all fun numbers. But anyway, what happens here then, this is when Demon Slayers, the money basically. So I was talking about people, and they're always, saying that, oh, this will be no movie and so on for Black Clover or something. But no, this is what the business world looks like. Demon Slayers earnings and so on was so powerful that, of course, it's not only that Demon Slayer was good, because Sony is also producing other stuff too, right? But in the earnings reports, and this is the because I read these reports every day, and in the earnings reports about Demon Slayer, not only was it mentioned, for Sony, and Sony showed this is why we're making more money and stuff, right? But even news network, like economical news network, that were quoting, oh, Sony is jumping, 10% today and 5% next day and so on. even these big news networks, like the actual, kind of like how you can follow the stock hype and so on, right? For boomers even and so on. Right? Even they were like mentioning Demon Slayer. They were like Demon Slayer movie, Demon Slayer movie. So it was kind of funny then. I was reading this earnings report and I was reading the general news, right? The general stock news. And in this stock news for like a week, they were mentioning the Demon Slayer movie. Why Sony is like, boom, right? Because already here, Sony has a great year, right? So they're already kind of booming, right? They're already booming in growth, right? And then they have a little slope, and then bam, and then another bam. So they kept talking about the Demon Slayer movie in this, like, stock news for 75, 80-year-old pile people, right? So it's, if you don't study the stock market that much, but basically just trust me that you can look at here again, right? This is when Demon Slayer earnings, how much it gave Sony earnings, and then how much people kept talking about the Demon Slayer movie. And I'm talking about anime fans. I'm talking about, boomers, talking about your grandpa sitting there reading that, oh, Demon Slayer, that's why a Sony stock is suddenly, 15% more worth in one day. Literally, they mentioned Demon Slayer several times. That's like a cold hard fact, right? And that's why I am very much believing that we're going to have a movie. And why I'm very much believing we're going to have a movie as well in that backlog, right? And you saw that on last Friday, Jujutsu Kaisen announced a movie, movie 0. Because again, this is what business is, right? The true, what you're looking for as a stock owner, right? Not like a retail investor, but they actually own the company. This different company that owns, the stocks, right? And the different collab, you get my point, yeah, whatever. They are looking for these things, right? That boost their earning rates. Because they say you have $1 million in this company, right? In Sony's case, then, right? Suddenly that $1 million worth like at least $100,000 more dollars in one day, right? That's how you really make money. And of course, you can just hold it forever, but But generally, that's what you're looking for, to create this like booming rush, right? Based on really successful earnings reports, which comes then in Sony's case this quarter here from the movies. So. I have a very hard time not seeing them doing more movies, right? And given that, for example, you saw Jujutsu Kaisen getting a movie because they want to create this thing happening, right? So anyway, that's kind of the economical background why I think it's going to have a movie. So let me explain what I think is going to happen here then. This is my theory, of course, but I think this is going to be true, is that season 2 is going to come back then, part 2, it's going to come back in winter next year. There's 9 months from now. They're gonna probably do maybe even less episodes, and they're gonna end it with being like, oh, here's to get the movie. Then we get the movie probably next fall or so, next year probably. That's my guess, right? Because I think it's like one of the most popular animes ever. It's a perfect thing to, of course, launch the stocks, right? And that's business, guys. In the end of the day, this is how the company works, right? You have these people that love doing anime, right? They have the mangaka and so on. But in the end of the day, you do have to think about who are people owning, who's the production company, who's owning this stuff in the behind, right? And they're all seeing that Sony stock jumping so much. That's why we have immediately Jujutsu Kaisen movie, right? That's why we have the Black Clover rumors is going to be moving so well, because everyone's like, oh, we need to make a movie. That's a new fab, right? But the thing is, it's a fab because of the enormous success that Sony's stock had, right? And that's what business people are thinking about, right? Anyway, that was really boring for most people, but that's the backstory why we're gonna have a movie. I'm sorry, my theory then, I have to say, I wouldn't be surprised, right, if they actually does not make 12 episodes. What if they figure out that we can get like 12? That's too much. Let's have 10 episodes, and then we're having the movie, right? Because there's a lot of story left in this chapter. So but at the same time, I could see them being like cutting that. So I'm gonna say that I don't think necessarily that we're gonna get a kind of full season, even depending on how long the movie's gonna be, right? This seems really that I'm invested into the idea of a movie, but I really am. Again, as I showed it, because I'm looking at the data of the values, I'm looking at the mathematical growth of companies, right? So I'm looking at thinking that is, if I was working in this company as production staff, we would make a movie. There's no way if I was working in this company, behind the budget for it, that I would make a movie. There's no way I would do that, right? And I am still a creative guy, right? You know what I mean? Arguably, there's no way that these business people are not gonna make a movie. This doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make any sense. So I could see them being cutting down the episodes to make the movie long, to have the movie in a good, timing and cliffhanger and so on in the anime. Anyway, let's do something fun then in the end here for my boring economical talk here. But yeah, anime back winter then, 9 months now, not now then I'm gonna do some spoilers here then. So I'm gonna talk about what I see here in the actual trailer, right? So let's talk about the trailer, guys, and obviously there'll be some spoilers, so I'm just gonna mention briefly interesting the YMIR stuff. So let's talk about that, and again then we're gonna be manga spoilers now then. So we have YMIR, she's falling down into the water, right? So this is of course when she enters the Yggdrasil tree, right? But as we know, it isn't actually a tree, but it's more like the caterpillar monster that we've seen in recent chapters. Not only the monster set, but also we see it in the water, right? So she kind of falls into the water, so living there. It's kind of she shoots through that one and then gets the powers, right? It's of course the kind of magical, but yeah, I mean it's clearly what's happening here. And it's interesting kind of. The trailer definitely is mostly about YMIR, right, and the ascension of the Titan powers, and of course how the demons life so on. So I would definitely be to see how anime only guys are gonna react to you seeing like, oh, what's this YMIR thing and so on, right? That's interesting. We see it later as well. We will do. They even show the caterpillar, right? Yeah, they even go for that monstrous caterpillar that we know is the real bad guy, right? This is the real antagonist, right? The true antagonist, of course. The kind of the living caterpillar that connects to your napra, because it looks like the brain's connected part, right? And I mean, look at this scene here. It's a good scene because it's not in the manga, but this scene here, it kind of is attached to her neck, right? It kind of goes for YMIR's neck, right? Kind of attaching that to the whole Titan power thing. So I think it's interesting because it's not in the manga. This very like kind of going at her body part. I think it's interesting as well. They're adding on that. I like that because I mean it's pretty clear that it fuses to the neck, right? You see the Eren kind of touch it to the caterpillar and so on. So yeah, it's interesting. It's all about YMIR. It's all about YMIR in this trailer, right? The paths, I guess. And this thing here, of course, is cool too, right? We got in actually the memory paths. It's kind of Eren saw and with Grisha and Zeke and so on. It's kind of the memories, kind of the flashback paths. So, it's paths, right? Yeah. The Pats trailer. But it really is. Like, this has to be, of course, the anime version of Pats. And I said that already in the manga review, that I said this is going to be a great episode in the anime because, or in the movie then. But I think the movie still makes sense, right? But yeah, like, or it's going to be a good part of the movie, whatever. It's just animated because there's so many scenes and so on, right, in the whole Pat thing. And I think the manga, it was a good chapter generally. But I think the manga still, you felt like, well, this definitely is gonna look better, with animation, right? Because it's like a lot of stuff flying around and a lot of different, like, I don't know, like different paths. So maybe arguably alternative reality or something, but it's some kind of time traveling and connected through the characters and so on, right? So it really felt like, okay, this is probably gonna do way better as animate, I would say. But it's definitely all about paths, right? The trailer, yeah, certainly. It's all about YMIR and Pats getting the powers. Of course, they'll explain how it's time traveling powers, whatever. But it's still so kind of how it works. But yeah, they have not explained at all how the caterpillar gives them the powers. But we know that's the cause of the true antagonist, right? The YMIR caterpillar. But that being said, though, but I look at this thing, right, and it kind of goes back to, of course, my theory is gonna be a movie. Because I'm looking at the math, right? I look at the valuation of Sony. Okay, the movie, that's so much money. But I feel like this would be a kind of good ending, honestly, of the season. That's gonna be my guess. I'm gonna try to guess here, but I feel that the anime is probably gonna end with Eren and so on entering and kind of get the path team, see the Grisha backstory with Zeke, and then the movie will just be the latest 5-6 chapters, right? Like kind of the fight, right? The massive war fight with everyone just fighting all the different titans and so on. Because the thing is that even that's not super storyline there, you can really extend those fights, right, with all the titans and so on. They can easily extend like a 30 minutes, like a filler fight, right, with all the different titan powers fighting each other on top of Eren. That can really be like a massive extension. That's why I think that the movie can happen too, because it's so easy for them to just animate super long fights, right, in that environment that fits for like a movie, right? The graphical performance there for a movie. So I think it's somewhere here probably where they will end is my guess then. Setting up the last battle, right? The last battle, I think, is the primary thing you want to see in the movie, right? Of course, I'm just guessing. Maybe I'm wrong, or maybe they make the anime, but do I want a movie? Just like a side question here. Do I want a movie? Let me answer that. Or do I want a movie? It's kind of like maybe. I really do think the last battle would be a lot better as a movie budget, right? A lot better. And it depends how long it will be, and depends on what do and so on, right? But I feel the last 5-6 chapters, that would be it truly would be a good movie, right? Like, because there's so much action in the last chapter, there's so much fights with so many powers and so on. And I think the other previous part, kind of where they're talking in the past place and they're discussing this, the philosophy and so on, right? That part is like that is more episodic, right? But the thing is that I think people forget this, but there's a lot of information left, right? There's so much info left, you know. There's so much like the Gabby scene and the Aaron. There's so much info left, you know, before we even get to where we are, the rumbling. There's easily like at least 2 episodes left, right? Probably more than that otherwise. But otherwise, I mean, yeah, it's past right the ending. I feel it's gonna be kind of the ending of the movie, right? And of course, as you see Aaron staring at the Yggdrasil tree, right? The last point there is him just, I guess, the path 3 thing that we keep seeing, right? What is it there? It is, yeah. Of course, that's the last part. I mean, that's the obvious thing, the path thing. I always say one thing though, right? The ending has been all about paths. I said it earlier in my ending review of, I mean, not the ending, as the episode, but ending. And there's so much Yggdrasil and the path pings in the ending, right? You know what I'm talking about, the ending here. So that's kind of weird how the ending, again, is set it ahead of his own time, right? Because, yeah, there's like 5-6 per episode at least until we get to this part, probably more in the anime's pacing. I would say one last thing here before ending, guys. So Skype about some good stuff, right? I do find the anime has been pretty slow paced, though. Honestly, again, probably. I'm like, I have to have the movie now. No, but I just feel some part of the anime, I think they could have, even if they cut away a lot of the Marley stuff in the beginning of the season, they've really removed some Marley stuff, so it was faster. But I still think that it's like the last episode with Yelena and so on, that has been slow paced, and I think that could have been faster too in an anime. So I think that has to do with them like trying to, again, you know, kind of pace out movies or season duration or number of episodes, whatever, right? Because it feels like it definitely could be faster, some episodes. And I think that could be on purpose, you know, to get the maximum number of episodes. So I don't know, but it's a little fishy, I feel, because there's some things where I feel like this definitely could have been done faster. At least some of the talking scenes I feel a little weird. Not the hate stuff, but I mean just like the discussion board they have and so on. It feels kind of weirdly slow paced. Like a few chapters of the manga, suddenly it's like 5 minutes an episode when you just talk about stuff and they don't really talk about anything particular. Isn't the movie story forward? So I think that's kind of strange. So I'm guessing again that's because they want to, you know, end it on a specific note, right? Like the peaks of this episode. But anyways, that's the Attack on Titan update. Did a little YMIR patch talk, of course. What do you guys think, right, about my stock? Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. No, but nothing to do with it. Of course, point out here in the video. This has nothing to do with any, of course, should you do that stuff. No, I'm just talking about why I think that the company behind the anime series, like Mappa with Kaisen, right? Why the Kaisen is getting a movie? Well, because look at the success of Demon Slayer, right? That's what I'm pointing out here. I'm not saying you should go and that stuff. No, I'm not suggesting anything about the actual value of the companies. That is completely, you know, not what I'm saying here. Right? I'm just looking at it from a it's like a business standpoint. It's like a very general business standpoint. Yeah, I don't even know what company that necessarily would jump from Attack on Titan. I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even know what company that you would look at earning reports and see, oh, this is the company that's gonna benefit from Attack on Titan the most. I haven't even checked that out, right? So, and then, of course, the Sony is unrelated to that. You should look at Sony from the Demon Slayer perspective, right? But anyway, guys, that's like definitely the video, that stuff. Anyway, guys, see you guys again, and see you guys soon with non